Do you ever feel like you're losing the battle against daily stress? Like you just can't catch a break? That's because the fight is rigged against you. Your brain isn't broken. It's not weak. It's just not built to handle the nonstop 24/7 pressure of modern life. The constant notifications, the back-to-back meetings, the social pressures, the endless stream of bad news. It's a reality our brains simply were not designed for. For most of human history, our stress response was a life-saving tool. When people faced immediate physical danger, their brains triggered a flood of hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, preparing them to either fight or flee. This system was brilliant for short, intense bursts of physical threat. After the danger passed, the body would return to normal. But today, the threats have changed. They're no longer a physical danger, but a looming deadline, an overflowing inbox, or a difficult conversation. Yet our brain's alarm system, the amygdala, still reacts by sounding the same ancient siren. This keeps us in a state of chronic low-grade activation, flooding our system with stress hormones that were never meant to stick around. The result? We feel anxious, irritable, and unfocused. The bad news is, this mismatch between our stress response and modern life is a big reason why you might feel like you're failing. But the good news is, you can train your brain. You can use the science of neuroplasticity, your brain's incredible ability to change and form new connections, to equip it for the modern world. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how. We're going to turn that overwhelmed brain into a resilient, stress-proof engine. Now, before we get to the training, you need to understand the battlefield. Think of your ability to handle stress as a mental fitness test. When your brain is untrained, it fails in 4 critical areas. Recognizing these is the first step to taking back control. The first area is mental capacity. This is your brain's processing power, your ability to focus, solve problems, and make clear decisions. Under chronic stress, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for these functions, has its function impaired. High levels of stress hormones weaken its ability to work properly, which is why when you're stressed, you can't concentrate. Your mind feels foggy, and even simple decisions feel impossible. The second area is mental composition. This is your emotional balance and mindset. An untrained brain's amygdala becomes overactive. Think of it as a smoke detector that's way too sensitive. It goes off all the time, even when there's no fire. This hyperactivity leads to anxiety spirals, mood swings, and a default negative outlook. Your emotional state becomes reactive and chaotic instead of stable and composed. The third area is mental flexibility. This is your ability to adapt to change and bounce back from setbacks. Chronic stress makes the brain rigid. You get stuck in negative thought loops and find it hard to see other solutions. Instead of adapting when a plan goes wrong, you just ruminate and freeze. This cognitive rigidity is a direct consequence of stress weakening the connections in your prefrontal cortex, the very area that allows for flexible thinking. And finally, the fourth point of failure is mental endurance. This is your ability to sustain energy and performance under prolonged pressure. An untrained stress response is incredibly inefficient. It's like leaving a car engine revving in the red line all day long. It burns through your mental and physical energy at an alarming rate, leaving you feeling exhausted and burnt out long before the day is over. Resilience isn't about having endless energy, it's about managing it effectively. So you have a foggy mind, a reactive emotional state, rigid thinking, and a drained battery. That's not a personal failing. It's a biological one. But here's the most important part. You can train every single one of those. Now that you understand the battlefield, let's talk about the training plan. We're going to use neuroplasticity to build up your mental fitness, targeting each of the 4 components with a specific science-backed technique you can start using today. To rebuild your ability to focus, you have to declare war on multitasking. Multitasking is a myth. What you're actually doing is rapidly switching between tasks, which increases cognitive load and contributes to the feeling of stress and exhaustion. Some studies show this constant switching is linked to higher levels of the stress hormone cortisol. The solution is a practice called single tasking. Here's how you do it. Set a timer for 15 or 20 minutes. Choose one task. Mute your notifications, close all other tabs, and put your phone in another room. For that block of time, you give that single task your undivided attention. If your mind wanders, gently guide it back. This might feel incredibly hard at first, but it is a workout for your prefrontal cortex. Every time you resist the urge to switch tasks and you redirect your focus, you are strengthening the neural circuits that manage attention. You're training your brain's CEO to stay in control and ignore the panicked signals from your amygdala. Practicing this just once a day builds your mental capacity, leading to deeper focus, clearer thinking, and a profound sense of calm. To stop your emotions from running the show, you need to engage your thinking brain when you feel overwhelmed. A powerful and surprisingly simple technique for this is called affect labeling. It sounds almost too simple to work, but research shows that the act of putting your feelings into words can dramatically reduce their intensity. When you feel a wave of anxiety, stress, or anger, just pause and name the emotion. Say it out loud or to yourself. This is anxiety. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Or this is frustration. Here's the neuroscience behind this. When you're in the grip of a strong emotion, your amygdala is running high. The moment you label the emotion, you engage your prefrontal cortex, the logical, analytical part of your brain. This act of naming helps regulate the amygdala's activity, which has a powerful calming effect on your nervous system. You aren't judging the emotion or trying to crush it. You're just observing it and naming it. This creates a small space between you and the feeling, allowing you to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. It's a simple on-the-spot technique to restore your emotional composition. To become more adaptable, you have to practice being uncomfortable. Your brain learns to handle stress by experiencing it in manageable doses and successfully recovering. This is the principle of controlled exposure. The goal is to intentionally introduce small, manageable stressors into your life to expand your window of tolerance. This trains your nervous system to recognize that it can handle discomfort and return to a calm state, which makes you far more resilient when life throws you a real curveball. So start small. The key is that the stressor must be your choice and within your control. This could be a 30-second blast of cold water at the end of your shower. It could be choosing to have a difficult conversation you've been putting off. It could be trying a workout that you know is challenging. When you willingly step into discomfort, you are teaching your brain to update its response to stress. You are teaching your amygdala that not every uncomfortable situation is a 5-alarm fire. Over time, your brain stops overreacting to uncertainty. You become less fearful of the unknown and more confident in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Finally, to build true mental endurance, you have to master the art of recovery. Endurance isn't about gritting your teeth and pushing through exhaustion. It's about your ability to effectively recharge. The most powerful tool for you is your breath, specifically a practice called box breathing. This technique is used by Navy SEALs, elite athletes, and surgeons to stay calm and focused under extreme pressure. It is profoundly simple and incredibly effective. Here's how you do it. Sit upright, slowly exhale all the air from your lungs, then gently inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Hold the air in your lungs for a count of 4. Slowly exhale through your mouth for another count of 4. And finally, hold with your lungs empty for a count of 4. That is 1 box. Repeat this for just 3 to 5 minutes. In fact, let's do that right now. Sit upright and slowly exhale all the air from your lungs. Now gently inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Hold the air in your lungs for a count of 4. Slowly exhale through your mouth for a count of 4. And finally, hold with your lungs empty for a count of 4. This simple breathing pattern directly influences your autonomic nervous system. It activates the parasympathetic branch, often called the rest and digest system, which can lower your heart rate and reduce blood pressure. One of the key biomarkers for resilience is heart rate variability, or HRV, which is a measure of the variation in time between your heartbeats. A higher HRV indicates a healthier, more resilient nervous system. And breathing practices like this are one of the most direct ways to improve it. Making this a daily habit is like depositing energy into your bank account, ensuring you have the reserves you need when things get tough. For too long, we've been told that feeling stressed is a personal failure, a sign of weakness. But the truth is, your brain wasn't designed for the world it now lives in. The fight was rigged from the start. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Your brain isn't fixed. It's a dynamic, adaptable organ waiting for your instruction. You now have a training plan. You can build your capacity with single tasking. You can improve your composition with effect labeling. You can boost your flexibility with controlled exposure. And you can build your endurance with box breathing. You don't have to do it all at once. Pick one, the one that spoke to you the most. Commit to practicing it for just 5 minutes a day for the next week. The journey to building real mental fitness begins not with a giant leap, but with a single intentional step. That's why we call them reps. Which technique will you try first? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're serious about taking control and want to know where to focus your efforts, we've created a really cool thing. It's called a mental fitness scan. We talked about how an untrained brain can struggle in 4 key areas. So to find out your specific strengths and weaknesses, you can take the mental fitness scan. It will access your capacity, composition, flexibility, and endurance, and give you an idea on what you need to work on in just a few minutes. Click the link in the description to take the scan and begin your training. It's time to stop fighting a rigged battle and start rewiring your brain for the modern world.